Hey there, Tundra Nation, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be covering some of the footage we picked up at Goals, where we talked with Mike from Gideon Optics about some of their new and upcoming products. So stay tuned, adjust your eye relief, and let's start the show.
We're here with Mike, Gideon Optics. We were talking about the, which is this guy again?
This is called the Granite. This is our giant window competition. That's a 3 MOA placeholder reticle, but the production one will actually have an 8 MOA dot and a giant window, so it's great for like steel
That
challenge,
is
right?
the fastest acquisition of a red dot I've ever
if
seen.
If you can't find the dot, that's on you, man.
Yeah, dude.
This thing is giant.
That's
right?
insanity.
But the trick is that you need to still make it lightweight enough that it doesn't impede function. Because if you get these things over about 3 ounces, you wind up having stovepiping and short stroking because you've added so much mass to the slide. You know,
I guess I never thought of it that way. Yeah,
it changes your lock time, and the you've got extra mass now, and so we would think of it as extra weight. So your inertia gets all screwed up. So if you put too much of a heavy thing on here, then you wind up having a malfunction trainer. So the trick is, get the biggest window that we can, have it be tough enough that Billy Joe Bob YouTube channel can drop test it, and and on his rock in the backyard, and go, well, it passed the drop test. It's good enough for me. We're gonna have two versions of it. Well, we have a bunch of versions of it. So let me tell you the story how this started out. So you notice the batteries in the side, right? So the project started out going, all right, everybody hates Glock MOS plates.
Yep.
And we want to try to bypass plates if we can and do something that is direct mount. So it started out as a direct mount carry and competition optic. So we've got them to go straight to Glock MOS, right to the top of the slide. You don't need a plate. Which means, because of where the screws are in the MOS footprint,
that's a game
there's
changer.
no place to put the battery. So we hung the battery on the right-hand side. And so if we got to hang it on the right-hand side, we might as well do the big battery, the 2032, instead of the little one, because we got this real estate here. So that's why that happened. So I was testing that out. I'm like, oh, I really like this this direct mount MOS optic a lot. And then I was like, I like it so much that the RMR guys, the non-Glock shooters, are going to feel left out. They're going to be like, well, where's our giant comp window?
Sure, right?
So then we're like, not only do we need to do it for MOS, but we need to do the same SKUs again, but go ahead and make it for the most popular footprint out there, the RMR footprint. So this one on the Platy here is just straight to the slide, which is an RMR cut slide, right? So we don't have a plate, we don't have an adapter plate.
That is such a game changer.
It goes straight to the top of the platypus, right?
Okay, I mean, so if I can give, and I'm sure you guys have heard this a million times, but from a newer red dot shooter perspective that has to go into the standard conversation of plates and confusion and this guy, what's the difference between, the gun, the MOS, the plate, what do I need? Like, I just went through this whole conversation with a couple of family members not too long ago, and it was
Who the fuck is that guy?
not the easiest thing to wrap your head around as a newer shooter.
Can we all just agree that everybody's going to use like
some kind of standard?
We're in this sort of Wild West phase right now where everybody has a lot of proprietary stuff, and that's why there's so many footprints and so many adapter plates. Well, what the industry really needs is something like the USB port in computers.
Yes.
Because from my point of view as a marketing dude, I'm looking for ways to remove barriers to purchase. There's a guy whose family has gone to bed and it's midnight and he's been watching Grand Thumb on YouTube and he wants a pistol dot and his mouse is hovering over the buy it now button, but he's not clicking. Why isn't he clicking? Right? What's the barrier? Well, he doesn't know if it's going to fit and work.
That's exactly what it is.
So he doesn't buy.
Honestly,
because, I don't know if it's going to go on my gun or not.
I can tell you that right from your customer's perspective. I've been in that exact position before, and I was just like, I can't pull the trigger on this for, a $300, $400, $500, $600 product that I don't know if it's going to fit my gun out of the box.
This thing, when it comes out, will be under $250 at MSRP, right? That if you do take your chance, first of all, we're shooters, so you can contact us, and Bob and I are going to help you figure it out.
Good.
But we've got some news that's better than what we brought the last time.
Send it back. Here's the one that fits. Here's the one that works. We got you handled. Awesome. We got you covered. So we'll work with you on that stuff.
I mean, that is not a common thing you see in the industry, that people are willing to go that far to help their customers get the right product, even if there is a mistake made.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of like, first of all, I'm the core customer, so I'm a guy who just likes to shoot a lot and finally worked his way into the industry and got to where I get to design cool things and make reticles and stuff, and I love it. But I've been shooting, since the last century. Damn! Right? And so, like, I am the guy that I'm trying to sell these products to. That's the way that we roll.
I like hearing that from a company. Honestly, once again, you get into these booth interviews and it becomes all about product, and you ask, where's the company going? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And then hearing stuff like that gives an incredible amount of buying confidence to your customer.
Trying.
And I mean, you're right. That's the thing that gets them to hit that button as opposed to hover over it and not. So well done. I would actually really, really love to talk about the LPVO options we have because that is my wheelhouse and I adore my LPVOs. What do we got here?
Okay, so this is the Gideon Guardian. We have a few different flavors.
That's the best name ever, by the
Guardian.
way. The Gideon Guardian. I love that.
So one of our guys, Bailey, shout out to Bailey. Bailey does dealer network stuff. So if you're a dealer and you want to get good prices on dealer stuff, he's the guy you talk to. He works with shipping. He's instrumental. Great kid, young man, right? And he's a huge Cleveland fan.
Okay.
And Cleveland renamed their baseball team the Guardians. And so, like, it kind of rolled from that. Like, hey, Guardian would be a good name for a scope. Here we are. So,
I like it.
Yeah, so it's the Gideon Guardian. We've got 2 second focals that are a 1 to 10 and a 1 to 8.
Okay.
And then we've got this 1 to 8 in the first focal plane. So let me ask you this. If LPVOs are in your warehouse, what's the problem with almost all of the first focal plane LPVOs? What's the number one knock that you see that you're like, oh, this one did it too? What's the thing that makes you... If you had to choose,
you might have to help me out on this one because the wheels are turning, but I'm not getting there.
You're honestly an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with you.
I think the biggest problem is that they disappear at 1x.
Oh, like they get that small? Yeah. Whoops, sorry.
Right.
I guess, yeah.
I'm at 6x or I'm on 8x or I'm at 10x.
Shoot,
I got my little Christmas tree, I've got my holds and everything, and I'm great at 400 yards. I'm great at 500 yards. I'm like, okay, now I want to do a plate racket at 15 yards.
I guess,
so I crank it down to 1, and it goes, and then like the middle of the reticle is just gone.
Sure, I started off my LPVO journey at the 1 to 4 and 1 to 6 power, so I never shot super long range, and I just picked up, I can't remember, somebody sent me one for a test, and that was the first thing I noticed. It was my first 1 to 10. I think it was a 1 to 10. It might have been a 1 to 8, but it was my first 1 to 10, and that thing it's invisible. You're right. It's 100% invisible.
So what do? We take our illumination and we crank it up to 11 and we run it like a red dot, right? Which works if I have a $2,500 Night Force attacker.
Sure.
Or if I have a $2,500 Vortex 1 to 10 made in Japan Razor Gen 3 with a diffractive illumination. And I got a $2,500 LPVO and I got a $400 reticle in it. Then I run it like a red dot. Except our whole optics is $400. This whole thing's $400.
Just
so it's done. So we have illumination, but it's not that nuclear daylight bright red dot style. So this reticle is designed to where you can see it. If you look through it at 1 power, there's all this stuff I put in there that goes, hey, dummy, here's the middle of the scope.
It's a Call of Duty hit marker.
Yeah, see all this
It is,
stuff.
though.
Yeah, it's got little tent stakes all around it, and I got a ring, and I got these 3 bars. Yeah, it is like a Call of Duty.
You're 100% right. There, I can see the graduations and all of, like once you bring it up, you can see everything now. But down here, it just looks like a very thin crosshair with all of the attention-grabbing things that you need to point directly at the center of where you need to...
It works in black. Even if you don't have illumination on, it still works.
Really? Yeah, yep, totally.
Yeah, because it's big and bold and it's in your face.
That's what she said.
Trick is, when you see that little dot there, that's in the middle of the diopter adjustment. That's great for camera work. Because the camera is basically like a perfect eye.
Sure. I'm sorry to interrupt, but for those who don't know what the diopter does, can you give them a...
Oh, yeah. So everybody's eyes are different. So this fast focus ocular, it's not a parallax adjust. The only thing that it changes is the focus of the reticle.
Okay.
So this would be ideal for like somebody with perfect 20/20 vision. The rest of us, you kind of have to figure out what works for you.
Fine adjustment.
And I will tell you a little secret. When you turn it this way, you get a little bit of negative magnification, and when you turn it this way, you get a little bit of positive magnification. So every once in a while, you'll see a YouTuber who will be like, well, I really like this, but I don't feel like it's a true 1x scope.
Sure.
And they do it on different brands, and it's like the same guys. I've never been able to find a true 1x LPVO no matter how much I spent. Yeah, bro, because I looked at your LPVO and it's
out
like that.
Yep.
Because your eyes, because of your eyes, you're never going to have a true 1x LPVO because of the way your eyes work. So, yeah, well, this one, everybody online said it was a true 1x. Well, kind of, yeah.
It's a skill issue.
Yeah, it's just an
Sorry,
understanding.
but it is. It's a skill issue by you guys.
So, Yeah, so that's an adjustable ocular. It does not change the parallax. It does not change the focus of anything downrange.
Sure.
It only changes the focus of the reticle inside. Yeah.
I'm assuming, what's the tube size? 30?
So
24?
30 millimeter tube, 24 millimeter objective on the 1 to 8.
Okay.
The big 1 to 10, the big Chonkus is a 28 millimeter and a 34 millimeter tube.
Really? Okay, that's cool.
this guy
So a
here-
lot of light transmission there.
Yeah, and I like the eye box better too.
Good.
Because the hard part with 1 to 10s is that they get really picky at 10x.
Yeah.
Right.
Very much so.
If you have bigger glass, we have a bigger objective lens, we have a bigger ocular lens, and we can, with a 34 millimeter tube, we can put bigger lenses on the inside.
Sure.
That helps the eye box. Well, yeah. Is our stuff as good as Leupold? Probably not, right? Like,
I mean, who knows?
Leupold stuff's amazing.
Yeah.
But our stuff is pretty good compared to a Leupold that you bought 20 years ago.
Okay.
When a Very X1 3x9 at Cabela's was
Sure,
the best
sure.
thing that was out there,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Yeah. So the technology has gotten so much better over time.
The standard has changed.
The standard has changed, and that's why the traditional guys, they had their sort of traditional scopes on their 270 bolt action, and they knew what they had, and they, it was like, that was the way it was for a long
Sure,
time.
yeah, of course.
But the expectations are so great that literally now I can take any of these guns I can reach out to such long distance with such high accuracy expectations because we're so much better than we were even 5 years ago.
Do you consider this a consequence of just the ultimate level of innovation in ARs and firearms technology that has kind of transitioned now over into the optics world and is propagating through that? Because the way I see it now is the ARs that we had that 20-year ago mark are not the same guns that we have today. The engineering, the material science, everything associated with the quality of a gun, and an optic in this case, has advanced and driven so far forward.
That whole meme about don't insult my AR by saying it's mil-spec.
Yeah,
right?
There you go, yep.
Right? I mean, when I was first getting into ARs, it was like, well, you should get a Colt because they're mil-spec.
Yeah.
And now, like, Colt's like, a 6920 is a retro gun now.
Yeah. Hey,
it is.
we gotta kill the video here.
Go away, Baton.